Yo WWE fam, it's time for another update here on WWE News Update. Smash that subscribe button, ring the bell, and let's get into the ring of news. For years, Seth Rollins spoke passionately about brotherhood, loyalty, and the unbreakable bond of the Shield, a trio that helped redefine an entire era of WWE. But after weeks of claiming that family still mattered and promising Roman Reigns that their connection ran deeper than any rivalry, Rollins made a choice that rewrote everything fans believed about him. What happened on Raw wasn't just a heel turn or a dramatic moment. It was Seth Rollins abandoning the very foundation that made the Shield legendary. And in doing so, he set in motion a chain of events that may haunt him for the rest of his career. Roman Reigns left alone in a war zone. On what should have been a routine night for the tribal chief, Roman Reigns found himself ambushed by a combination of rivals: the Judgment Day, Solo Sikoa's emerging faction, and every threat that had built up during Roman's historic run. Even for someone with Roman's resilience, the numbers game was overwhelming. Every time he fought one attacker off, two more stepped forward. Raw became a battlefield, and Roman, battered and exhausted, looked toward the entrance ramp for the one man who promised he would always have his back. The moment Seth Rollins turned away. Seth Rollins stepped onto the stage to one of the loudest reactions of the night. Fans believed they were about to witness a Shield reunion, one last moment of unity in the midst of chaos. Roman looked at him with trust in his eyes, hope flickering for just a moment. That was when Seth smirked, shook his head, and simply walked away. He didn't just deny Roman help. He watched Roman suffer, choosing pride over loyalty and proving that his vision for Raw was more important to him than the brotherhood he once cherished. The fallout and Roman's cryptic warning. Backstage sources immediately began whispering about fallout, stunned reactions, and tense conversations behind closed doors. Everyone wanted to know how Roman Reigns would respond to this betrayal. The answer came during a media interview days later, when Roman was asked directly about Seth's actions. With calm certainty, he simply said, "I know who to call." Those 5 words sent shockwaves across the wrestling world, triggering speculation, excitement, and a level of anticipation WWE hasn't seen in years. Why Jon Moxley's name exploded online. Within minutes, social media erupted with one name: Jon Moxley. Fans shared Shield highlights, slowed down Roman's interview footage, and analyzed every possible hint. Everyone remembered that despite leaving WWE in 2019, Moxley always spoke respectfully about the Shield. He never denied the importance of the bond he shared with Roman and Seth, and he never dismissed the idea that someday the group's story might need a final chapter. Now, with Seth turning his back on Roman, that chapter might finally be arriving. A look back at Moxley's journey. Jon Moxley walked away from WWE to reclaim his identity, pursue creative freedom, and push himself as a performer. He rebuilt his career in AEW, becoming a world champion and one of the most compelling figures in the industry. But one thing never changed: his appreciation for the Shield and the respect he showed toward Roman Reigns. Even as he evolved into a more dangerous, intense version of himself, the memories of his brothers remained part of who he was. Why Roman needs Moxley. Now Roman's situation isn't just about needing backup. It's about needing someone he can trust without question. Seth has made it clear that his ambitions matter more than loyalty, but Moxley has always been the brother who fought beside Roman without hesitation. Their paths may have diverged, but the foundation beneath them never crumbled. In this moment of betrayal, Roman turning to Moxley feels not only logical but inevitable. Seth Rollins' vision begins to crumble. Seth has spent months shaping Raw into his personal kingdom, manipulating rising talent and positioning himself as the brand's visionary leader. He believed his betrayal would humiliate Roman and cement his dominance. But by turning away from Roman, Seth has accidentally created the circumstances for the one return that could undo everything he has built. Seth's greatest miscalculation wasn't abandoning Roman. It was assuming Roman had no one left to turn to. Negotiations and possibility of Moxley's return reports suggest that conversations between WWE and Moxley are taking place quietly but quickly, driven by the magnitude of this story. Triple H, who respects Moxley's work inside and outside WWE, is reportedly hands-on with discussions. In this new era of the company, creative collaboration is possible in ways it wasn't before. If ever there was a perfect moment for a return, emotionally and creatively, this is it. The Shield's history comes full circle. The Shield's story has always been fueled by loyalty and betrayal, with Seth often being the trigger that tears the group apart. In 2014, he was the brother who struck first. Years later, reunions happened, but the wounds never fully healed. Now, Seth stands alone, not because the others abandoned him, but because he abandoned them one too many times. Roman built an empire. Moxley forged his own destiny. Seth tried to control a legacy that wasn't his alone. And now the consequences are catching up. The moment the WWE Universe is waiting for. The idea of hearing Jon Moxley's music hit on Raw, of watching him walk through the crowd again, is enough to electrify the entire WWE Universe. The visual of him standing beside Roman Reigns, united by brotherhood and vengeance, is storyline perfection. And the instant Seth realizes what's happening, that may go down as one of the most unforgettable moments of his career. An evolved Moxley could change everything. If Moxley returns, it won't be the same version who left WWE years ago. It will be the hardened, sharpened, unpredictable fighter fans have seen around the world. Someone with nothing to lose and everything to prove. A Roman-Moxley alliance would instantly become one of the most intimidating forces WWE has seen in years. A direct threat to everything Seth has built. What Seth faces. If Moxley returns. Seth's faction on Raw has thrived with manipulation, mind games, and calculated control. But against Roman Reigns and a returning Jon Moxley, mind games won't be enough. The Shield was built not on strategy alone, but on raw devastation. And Roman and Moxley together represent the heart of that chaos. Seth may have believed his betrayal made him untouchable. Instead, it has painted a target on his back. The road to WrestleMania becomes clear. WWE is known for creating long, dramatic arcs leading into WrestleMania, and this story already feels like the centerpiece of the next big event. A final chapter to the Shield's saga. Seth versus Roman, with Moxley's presence changing everything, would be a historic moment fans talk about for years. Betrayal, reunion, redemption, and revenge are the core pillars of legendary WWE storytelling. Why Moxley returning makes sense. Now, there has been ongoing speculation about Moxley's future, hints about new directions, and comments from Moxley himself about unfinished business. WWE's atmosphere under Triple H is far more collaborative and creatively open than when Moxley left, making a return not only possible but potentially appealing. With the perfect storyline in place, this might be the moment that brings him home for one last monumental chapter. The Shield's legacy hangs in the balance. Roman and Moxley reuniting wouldn't just be a storyline twist, it would be the emotional climax of a decade-long saga. The Shield shaped a generation, elevated careers, and created moments etched into WWE history. Seth's latest betrayal has reopened old wounds, but it has also given WWE the opportunity to deliver the finale that fans have waited years to see.